Okay, so in this video, I want to talk about the number one mistake that I think agency owners make, especially beginning agency owners. This is something that I've actually fallen victim to myself. It's something that I see almost every single day when I'm on my sales calls or when I just speak to new agency owners. And it's something that people think drives them towards their goals, towards the money they want, the business they want, the clients they want. But in actual fact, I think it drives them almost the complete opposite way. So if you're not familiar with me, my name is Ben Lister. I help agency owners to save thousands and thousands of hours by doing their outreach for them so they can actually work on their agency rather than in their agency. So the thing that I want to talk about today is the fact that sales and marketing inside of a marketing agency is the most important thing, right? So getting your business out there, whether this is outreach, whether this is inbound, whether this is paid ads, whatever it may be, and then actually closing those clients and closing those prospects and turning them into clients, this is the most important thing, right? And I think a lot of people do understand that, but the way that people actually go about doing this is, in my opinion at least, completely wrong, and in my experience, completely wrong. I know that people focus on websites, people focus on logos, people focus on a whole bunch of stuff that is, creative, and it makes you feel like you're making progress and you're doing something big and you're improving the business. But in actual fact, I think it drives you away from what is truly important. For example, with my business, we still don't have a website yet. We still have our old website for a completely different niche, a completely different topic, and it sort of relates, and it sort of makes a lot of sense, and it kind of explains our backstory and why we're doing what we're doing. But we don't market ourselves on our website. We don't post on social media. We had a logo that was created in 30 seconds, and it's not really a main priority. But what the main priority for myself is, and my business, is outreach and making sure that we are booking appointments. And until we are doing inbounds, channels like this one, which we were only just recently starting, that is not even the slightest concern, right? We don't need to, tell people about how great we are or do this or do that. What we simply need to do is create a very good offer, send it to people who might be interested, and, with the help of some good copywriting, some good psychology, we can actually convert those people into booked appointments, create some interest, and then we can hopefully convert them into clients. So I would actually go to one extreme where almost like the product that you sell, the service that you sell, before you even develop that to quite a fine detail, you need to actually go and market that, right? Because if you don't know, for example, especially if you're on a niche that isn't proven, if you're working with, I don't know what niches are proven, but almost every niche is proven at this point. But if you're working in a niche that isn't very proven right now, and there's not crazy case studies out there, you can't really point to a major agency doing, 7 figures. You need to actually make sure that the prospects you are aiming for, the kind of businesses that you're aiming for, actually resonate with your offer. And the only way you do this is either by market research, which is kind of time consuming and it's not really too accurate, or you just simply go out there and do your outreach, and you simply, pick up the phone, start calling some people, and actually, test your offer out there. Create an offer, see, we're going to offer you 10 appointments a month, and if we don't get you 10 appointments a month, then you get a full refund, right? Something basic like that. If you go out there and test it in the market, and you actually have 2 sales calls out of 100 calls or something like that, 100 cold calls, then you have a bit of a proof of concept, right? And obviously you can test that further, and you can go a little bit deeper with that. If, for example, you build this product out, you spend a couple of months building it out, you create a very nice logo, your website's great, you have social media profile, you're already posting maybe some YouTube videos or something like that, and you're building this huge profile, and then you go to do your cold calls, you go to do your cold email, and you realize that no one is responding back, no one resonates with this offer, or it's not even a problem in the first place. Now you're back at square one. Whereas the first thing you want to do is you want to go and actually book appointments, you want to speak to people, you want to make sure these people resonate with your offer, and then you actually have a business. This happens time and time again. Even some of the best entrepreneurs that I know, some people that I look up to, this has happened to them in the past, where they spent months and months building this whole product. This is going to be a fantastic product in their head, but their market research is kind of vague. It's not really based on anything scientific as such, and then they go out to the market and it's just not an interest for the prospects that they want, at least not enough people to actually go and make the kind of business that they want, to make enough money that they want. So just an example with my business, for example, when we started the service that we sell now, we booked appointments literally 2 days after its inception, before I even focused on changing the website around, doing social media posts, anything like that. The first thing that we went and did is we went and sent messages on social media to people and say, hey, would you be interested in this? This is the offer that we have. We created a little quick video to show you. Would you be interested in this, right? Then we had some kind of proof of concept. I mean, I was fairly confident this would come off, and obviously we could have built a website and built a logo, and we could have, created a huge VSL with like 12 different steps, and maybe we had some kind of email newsletter going on or something like that. the main thing was actually just getting customers in the door, getting sales calls booked, and actually converting those. And then once we have a bit of money to play with, once we actually, are able to sell this thing, then we can go out and see, how can we make this product better now. Now we have a bit of cash to work with. Now we can actually go and invest in this product. We can actually build the service that we want. And then from that point there, now we can start to do all the fun stuff, which is basically what we're doing now. We're building a YouTube channel. Maybe we'll change our website down the line if it actually, becomes such a big enough priority. We're going to build a couple of funnels and things like that, right? But the main thing that we're actually focusing on now is just booking appointments. And a problem that we did have originally was we booked a ton of appointments. We signed a few clients and we brought some clients on board, and then the service delivery took a little bit of a hit where we had to delay some campaigns that were starting. We thought we were able to get clients on a little bit sooner than possible, but that wasn't the case. So that became the main focus there. But the thing that we always kept doing, which always kept, doing our outreach, doing our sales calls, booking appointments, and making sure that we had clients coming into the door. Because as soon as that stops, this is a whole different topic, but the sort of lag that you get from when you actually start to do your outreach to when these clients convert into sales calls and then convert into clients is quite significant. Sometimes it can be 1 to 2 weeks. So if you stop your outreach for now, for example, and then you just want to start it again, you might wait 7, 10, 14 days sometimes to actually start to generate this revenue again and start to build up this new client base. So that's something that we just didn't want to do at all. And there's actually a book on this called Fanatical Prospecting, I think it is. I forgot who it's by, but basically if you just Google it, it'll come up. It's more like a sales book. People that are salespeople and they work in a whole different industries. But the idea of the book is still the same, whether you work in an agency or whether you work in a corporate sales environment, is that you always want to have your pipeline full of prospects, even if you're too busy, even if you're focusing on other stuff and you have things going on, because this flow of prospects, this pipeline needs to be fluid. You need to have an awful lot of prospects coming through, because that is the lifeline of the business, right? If your business isn't making cash, if it's not cash flowing, you're kind of like stuck everywhere else, right? You're almost like snookered. There's nothing that you can do at that point that would actually, improve the different systems, because you just don't have the cash to invest. Especially if you have a team, if you have people that you need to pay and things like that, the number one thing that you need is sales calls coming in, so you can actually convert these sales calls into clients and start making some cash. And I know what a lot of people might be thinking straight away is, how on earth can I do sales calls? How on earth can I do outreach when I don't have a product, when I don't have a business? Here's the thing. I very much thought this as well, and the penny kind of dropped to me a little bit after that I actually started a business and when I realized it. And now obviously I think this is good advice to tell people who haven't had this moment yet, because they haven't got far enough in their journey yet. But when you have a prospect that is interested on the call and is genuinely interested in what you have to offer, so X amount of appointments, and you have enough conviction and you convince them that you are the person to solve all their problems, they don't need to see your website, they don't need to see your testimonials, they don't need to know if you've got a fancy logo. At the end of the day, they don't really care if you're just a 16-year-old in your spare bedroom in a makeshift office and you're going to be doing some Facebook ads, right? People don't care about that as long as they actually believe that you are the person for them and you actually can deliver on your offer, right? And the way that you convince them to deliver on your offer is not by giving them a fancy website to look at or showing them hey, we have all these testimonials. It's by the sales process, right? It's the way that you speak to them. So this was a thing for me where I was like, no one's going to take me serious if I'm not I don't have a big website. I don't have tons and tons of testimonials. I don't have all this great stuff out there. But when I closed my first client and I realized that, this is completely different. No one actually cares about the results that you've had in the past. You can simply just use a little bit of psychology, a little bit of good sales work, and you could pretty much convince anyone at that point to buy if you do have the right conviction and you have the right offer out there. And so this really comes down to the priorities that you have in business, right? So obviously if making money is the priority, then, outreach and sales and marketing and sales has to be the priority when it comes to this. You can't really prioritize your service as such. And another thing that I see is people know that, I can't sell a service if I don't actually have a service. How can I possibly do this? The biggest trick for me was basically to just have an extended onboarding period for the first couple of clients that you have. You can say something like, we're trying out a new onboarding phase, or we're improving our onboarding phase. So it's going to be more detailed, and this is going to take, 3 to 4 weeks, something like that. You could do it in 2 weeks if you really have the time to put the work in. But if you have, a 3 to 4 week period, this is where you can get everything set up, where it's, your new ad system, or, your lead nurturing systems, or whatever it may be that you have to do to actually onboard your client. And this is basically where you just have to work 16-hour days just to make sure that you absolutely get it done. But the number one thing is obviously that you have clients clients to serve, right? I've seen quite a lot of businesses, quite a lot of agencies where they make service a product. They spent quite a lot of time doing this, and then like, okay, like now it's time to get clients. Now it's time we do our outreach and we bring those prospects to us, and they can't do it because they've just realized like how actually difficult that is, and it's a skill. It's a whole different skill in its own right, and if you don't have that, then you don't really have a business. Another thing that I've realized pretty recently is that it's like so important. 95% of marketing agencies is sales, and it is just about being able to convert prospects. If you have a great sales team, if you have a good sales skills, you are going to be head and shoulders above someone who is, not really too great at sales. They're kind of nervous and they don't really know what they're doing. Putting the sales skills and the marketing skills almost second to your service, it makes sense logically in your head, because obviously, if you were selling, for example, some e-commerce product, if you were selling clothing, right, you had a clothing brand, your product is very important. The quality of that clothes, the design, is very, very important, right? Obviously, marketing and sales is pretty important, but when it comes to a marketing agency, the number one thing is sales, and it's been able to actually get someone on the phone, convince them that your product is the one that's for them, and then close them on that, right? So if you leave this almost like a second priority, if you focus on the product first, you're going to have a much, much bigger headache trying to convince people that your product is the best one, now focusing on sales after you've built this product. When if you focus on that first, you make that the main selling point of your business, the fact that you are great at closing clients, you will always bring in money, cash flow is not an issue for you in the slightest, and then you go and build the product around that. Once you actually have a bit of money to play with as well, that is the far, far better strategy. The way that I've done it, this way that a lot of successful people that I know have done it. I don't actually know anyone that's been crazy successful that's done it the other way around, where they focus on the product first, then the marketing. But yeah, that's basically the way that I see it, based on the evidence that I've had, the experience that I've had, and the mentorships that I've had over the last few years. So yeah, if you are looking for more clients, if you are struggling with your outreach and you would like someone to do it for you, go ahead and click the first link in the description. I'm not going to ask you for your email or your phone number to send over some video of me, explaining this for 25 minutes. It's literally just a video of me explaining what we do, how it works, and the kind of results that we've had in the past. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, I do appreciate it if you could like it, click the subscribe button as well. Comment on kind of topics you want me to cover, because I'm going to be covering a lot of different topics over the next few weeks and months. But yeah, I appreciate you watching this one all the way to the end. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Thanks, bye.